Let's make some basil ice cream using this hydroponically grown basil and use a recipe from David Lebovitz, The Perfect Scoop. Welcome back to the channel. Like it says, we're going to use some hydroponically grown basil. This is grown in my unit. On my other channel, I talk a bit more about this, Arc Verde Hydroponics and Gardening. Link below, link up here. Head over, like and subscribe, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to take some of this and we're going to use a recipe from David Lebovitz, The Perfect Scoop. If you don't have this book, you should. It's a really good introduction to ice cream making, loads of different flavors. You've got ice cream sorbets, granitas, gelatos, all stuff like that in here. It's a really handy book to help you learn ifs, buts and whats. Combine that with obviously all the info that I've got on this channel, and it's a great place to get you started. So, basil ice cream. I've never made this before. Let's just get on and see what it says. So we've got the recipe here along with the full ingredients and breakdown. It's in a mixture of grams, cups and whatever else. So I'm gonna convert this so everyone has what they need to make this at home. So what are we gonna need? We're gonna need, fine, basic stuff. He does use egg yolks. I'm not gonna make this a custard. We're gonna use stabilizers. More scientific approach to this. You know that's what I prefer. Don't like loads of egg whites sitting in the fridge forever. So that aside, let's get all our stuff ready. In here we've got 25 grams of fresh basil. We've got 150 grams of sugar and 250 grams of our whipping cream. So we now are gonna blend this up. Into as smooth a puree as possible. We need to take out half of this basil mixture and put it in a bowl, because to this we're going to add the remaining 250 milliliters of heavy cream. Here we go, and we're going to stir this up to get that nicely combined. The next step is to get this in a pan and get it on there with the milk and salt. So let's get on and do that bit. Let's get the remaining super smooth. Obviously in that blender the cream has started to just slightly whip up, so it's thickened a little bit. So into this pan goes the remaining half of our basil cream. And then into that we need to add our milk and salt. I'll put this back in the fridge. But because we're going to use an ice cream stabilizer rather than egg yolks, we're going to mix the salt and the stabilizer together just to make sure that it can hydrate and not clump up. So in here we're going to put in our 250 milliliters of milk. This is 2% milk, like that. Only need a pinch of salt. So we're not going to be able to mix in our stabilizer. So let's get this and just a teaspoon or two of sugar, because you need to mix your ice cream stabilizer with something like sugars or milk powder to stop it clumping. If you just add your ice cream stabilizer, whatever type it is, straight into a liquid, it will clump up and you'll just get lumps of it, and it actually won't do anything. All you need to do is just put a little tiny bit of sugar in there, put your ice cream stabilizer, again this stands for all powdered stabilizers, just give it a quick mix like that, and then we can put it in and get in there and stir that up. And now let's get this on the hob. So let's just swap this over for a whisk, nice and quick, and get this mixed up. Now all we're doing is we're heating this to hydrate that stabilizer. We would have had to heat this to about 70 degrees Celsius using egg yolks, but because we've used a stabilizer, we're going to take this up to 80 degrees Celsius now. So heating that basil up has increased the green color. So we're now just going to start mixing these together like that. And the final thing is to grate the lemon zest in. So let's get that straight in there. One final quick stir just to make sure that's all combined. And in the fridge that goes. After your ice cream is completely chilled down in the fridge, you can take it out and give it a nice good stir, make sure it's all mixed together, then pop it in your ice cream machine to churn. It took about 12 minutes in my machine, but once it was ready, took it out and started dishing out the tub. The smell was great when I opened it up here. And as you can see from the colour, it's really, really nice. Non-adjusted colour here at all. So you get to see exactly what it looks like to me, is exactly what it looks like to you. A little close-up shot so you can actually see the glorious green colour, little flecks of basil in there as well. Basil ice cream from David Lebovitz, The Perfect Scoop. This is a great book if you're just getting started, like I said before. There's a lot of recipes in here. They're all quite basic, or the majority of them are quite basic. In terms of, they're designed for your average home ice cream maker. You can, once you learn a bit more about recipes, start modifying these. So I actually made two versions of this. I did one with egg yolks, which is exactly as the recipe states, and then one without, with stabilizers, which is the one I filmed. And interestingly enough, the one with egg yolks has a much less complex flavor because the egg yolks actually start to add a bit of taste to it. And this can be a problem with custard-based ice creams. You start to get the taste of the egg yolks come through and it starts to detract from the delicate flavors that you're trying to bring forward. So in this case, basil, which is a very strong flavor, it's also a very strong smell. As you know, if you've ever grown basil or bought it from the store, you just have to touch it once and that smell is with you for hours. So having something like this without the egg yolks in means you get a real strong natural flavor of basil come through. And it's that classic 2:1 ratio of cream to milk. You can go past that now. You don't have to follow those super basic recipes to create something. You can create much more complex ice creams at home using, very few additional ingredients, if any at all. So let's talk. Let's see what it actually tastes like. It's got a good texture. I'm not going to say it's perfect texture because it's not, but it is very good. The flavor of the basil is dulled just slightly by the dairy, which is another common thing. And in this kind of situation, it benefits from the dairy. Because basil is such a strong flavor, it needs that dairy fat to bring it down, tone it down, so it's not blow your head off basil, because there's a fair amount in here. But you're left with this subtle, lingering taste of basil, and it's delicious. Basil is delicious. This actually would work really well on something like a savoury bread, with strawberries with some balsamic vinegar, something like that. And also something to note, the lemon rind, lemon zest, wherever you're from, that really makes a difference here. It cuts through that basil flavour. Doesn't really make it lemon flavoured, but you can just catch it at the end. You can just catch that tiny little bit of lemon come through. It's a delicious combination, basil with that touch of lemon. So this is the first video I've done using a recipe directly from the book. If you're interested in seeing other videos like this where I copy a recipe from a book, then do let me know. I've got a fair few ice cream books to go through, but I appreciate you coming along and watching me make basil ice cream from David Lebovitz, The Perfect Scoop. Thanks very much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.